All right, so today we're diving into why some folks think Rodri should win the Ballon d'Or. We've got this article that's making a case for him, and it's all about his 2023 season. Now, we're not going to decide if they're right or wrong. We just want to unpack their argument and see what makes it tick.
Right off the bat, what's interesting is Rodri isn't your typical flashy Ballon d'Or kind of player.
That's exactly. The article calls him the unseen artist of the midfield. And honestly, that's spot on. He's not scoring a crazy amount of goals or anything, but he's the one making it all work. Like, if you think of a band, he's not the lead singer, but he's the drummer keeping the beat.
Exactly. And that beat is vital for a team like Man City, especially during that historic treble they won in 2023. He's the link between the defense and attack, the guy who sets the tempo for the whole game.
Okay, I get that. But how does that actually play out on the field? Like, can you give me an example?
Well, think back to that game against Real Madrid in the Champions League semifinal. Rodri was everywhere, intercepting passes, winning tackles. And then, boom, he's launching these pinpoint passes to kick off Man City's attack. He completely shut down Real Madrid's midfield and then turned that pressure into opportunities for City.
Ah, I see. So it's not just being in the right place, it's what he does when he's there. He's switching from defense to offense like that. That's got to be huge in a high-pressure game.
Exactly. It's that tactical awareness, being able to read the game and make the right call, even when things are intense.
Now, the article also talks about Rodri's journey. It sounds like when he was first starting out, people weren't sure if he could live up to some pretty big expectations.
Yeah, there were definitely doubts. I mean, he was coming in after players like Yaya Toure, legends at Manchester City, so the pressure was on for sure.
Man, I bet that was tough. Like having to follow a rock star on stage. How do you handle that?
Yeah. By working his tail off and proving himself on the pitch, he didn't let the pressure get to him. Instead, he just focused on getting better and becoming the best player he could be. Honestly, we can all learn from that kind of dedication, right? It doesn't matter what you do. Having that drive to exceed expectations can take you a long way.
Totally agree with you there. And speaking of exceeding expectations, we got to talk about that Champions League final. Everyone's talking about that game-winning goal like it was the moment.
Oh, for sure. That goal was amazing. But if we only focus on that one moment, we're really missing the bigger picture. What he did throughout that whole Champions League run and the entire season is what made that moment possible. It's about consistent performance, not just one flash of brilliance.
So it's not like he just got lucky in that one game.
No way. It's more like he earned that luck through all his hard work and preparation. For example, take his performance in the quarterfinal against Bayern Munich. Remember how he shut down their attack, completely neutralizing one of the most powerful offenses in Europe? That defensive masterclass was just as important as that final goal.
Okay, so I'm seeing a pattern here. It's not about those flashy moments. It's about constantly being the rock, the foundation of the team.
That's a great way to put it. And the article really emphasizes this idea of quiet leadership. It's not about yelling or demanding attention. It's about setting the standard with your work ethic and inspiring your teammates by what you do.
So he's leading by example, showing them what it takes to win at the highest level. Now, the article also mentions his role on the Spanish national team, which isn't something you usually associate with quiet anything.
True. Spanish football's known for its flair and passion. But Rodri brought a different element to the team when they won the Nations League in 2023. He showed that his style of play can fit in with different team dynamics and still be super effective.
So this quiet brilliance isn't limited to one team or one style of play. It's something he brings wherever he goes.
Exactly. And being able to adapt like that is valuable no matter what you do. Think about it. You have to adjust your approach all the time, depending on the situation or who you're working with.
It's like having a toolbox full of skills and knowing which one to use at the right time.
Perfect analogy. It makes you wonder, is Rodri changing how we think about midfielders? Is he proving that it's not just about being strong or having flash moves, but it's about intelligence, composure, and tactical awareness?
You're making me think this goes way beyond just football now. But we can get into that later. Let's get back to this Ballon d'Or argument. What's the article's main point?
They're basically saying the Ballon d'Or shouldn't just be about goals. It should be about defining a season, inspiring your team, and playing at a high level consistently. And they argue that in 2023, Rodri did all of that.
Okay, so it's not just about individual stats, it's about impact. But hold on, isn't that kind of hard to measure? How do you even compare that to someone who scores like 40 goals in a season?
That's the million-dollar question. And I think that's what makes this article and this whole debate about Rodri so interesting. It's making us look past the obvious, past the highlight reels, and really think about what it means to be the best. It's kind of cool how this article subtly links Rodri's playing style to a wider trend we're seeing in football.
Oh, you mean how they talk about him emphasizing the mental side of the game, like he's playing chess while everyone else is running around out there?
Yeah, exactly. They highlight his balance, his composure, his tactical intelligence. These aren't the things that necessarily get the fans going wild, but they're absolutely vital for winning games at the top level.
Okay, so he's like the brains of the operation. But how does that actually look on the field? Can you give me a specific example?
Sure, picture this. Champions League final. Inter Milan's pressing hard. The tension is insane. Most players would crumble under that pressure, try to force something. But not Rodri. He stays calm, keeps the ball moving, waits for that perfect opening, and then bam, a perfectly weighted pass slices through Inter's defense and creates a scoring chance for City. Pure genius.
Wow, so he's not just reacting to the game, he's dictating it.
Yeah.
Like he's always one step ahead.
Exactly, and that's what makes him so special. He might not be the biggest or fastest guy out there, but he's thinking 3 moves ahead like a grandmaster. And that kind of intelligence is becoming more and more valuable in modern football.
It's like he's the quarterback of the team reading the defense, calling the plays. But instead of throwing a football, he's threading these passes through a packed midfield.
That's a great way to put it, and I think this article is arguing that this kind of player, this new breed of midfielder, deserves more recognition. They're basically saying, hey, he might not score 40 goals a season, but he makes those goals happen.
Right. But some people might say that goals are still the ultimate way to measure a player's impact. How would you respond to that?
Well, it's a valid point. Goals are obviously super important, but they're often the result of a bunch of actions, a chain of events that starts way earlier. And a lot of times, Rodri is the one who sets that chain in motion. He wins the ball back, initiates the attack, and orchestrates the play that eventually leads to the goal. He might not get the final assist, but there's no denying his influence.
So it's about recognizing those contributions that aren't as obvious, the things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
Exactly. And that's not easy in a world that's so focused on stats and individual awards. But if we really want to understand football, and any team sport for that matter, we have to look beyond the surface and appreciate that subtle brilliance of players like Rodri.
It's like saying, don't just look at the finished painting. Appreciate the brushstrokes, the composition, the artist's vision. And Rodri's vision is pretty impressive.
Totally agree. He sees the game differently, and that's what makes him stand out. And the article takes it a step further, suggesting that this isn't just about Rodri. It's about a shift in how we value certain types of players.
You mean like, are we starting to prioritize brains over brawn? Substance over style?
That's the question they're raising. And it's a really interesting one, especially now when data analysis and tactical innovation are changing how football is played.
So is Rodri like a symbol of that change? Is he the poster boy for this new era of intelligent, composed, and tactically savvy midfielders?
He definitely embodies those qualities. And if he were to win the Ballon d'Or, it would be a powerful statement, a recognition that football is evolving and that we need to broaden our definition of greatness.
Because it's not just about the highlight reel anymore, right? It's about those quiet moments of brilliance, the subtle plays that change the whole game.
Exactly. And that's something we can all learn from, whether we're football fans or not. It's about recognizing the value of intelligence, hard work, and those less glamorous but equally important contributions that often get overlooked.
It's like that old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But sometimes the most important wheels are the ones that run silently and smoothly, keeping the whole machine moving forward.
And Rodri is definitely one of those wheels, a crucial part of the Man City machine. But his impact goes beyond his club. His performance for Spain, a team known for its flair and energy, shows that his style can adapt and succeed in different settings.
So he's not just a one-trick pony. He's got a whole arsenal of skills. He's like the Swiss Army knife of midfielders.
I like that. He's versatile, adaptable, reliable, and those qualities are just as valuable in any job.
Think about it. Who are the Rodris in your life? The people who quietly keep things running, the ones who might not get all the attention, but are essential to the team's success.
They could be the project manager who keeps everything on schedule, the IT person who fixes the network when it crashes, or the administrative assistant who makes sure the office runs without a hitch.
The point is, we all depend on those unsung heroes, those quiet leaders who make our lives easier and our teams more effective.
And maybe, just maybe, Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or would help us all appreciate that quiet brilliance that's all around us both on and off the pitch. It's funny how this whole Rodri thing has got us thinking about what we really value in any field, not just football.
I know, right? Like we're so used to celebrating the big flashy moments, the stuff that makes the news. But what about those people who are just consistently great? The ones working behind the scenes making it all happen.
It's like the difference between a firework and a steady burning flame. The firework is spectacular, but it's gone in a flash. But the flame, even though it's not as showy, it gives you that constant warmth and light.
And sometimes that steady, reliable presence is even more important.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. You wouldn't want your heart surgeon to be all flash and no substance, would you?
Exactly. And in football, Rodri is that steady presence, that reliable heartbeat of the team. The article makes a really strong argument for him winning the Ballon d'Or, not because he's the most exciting player, but because he's the most important.
It's a good reminder that real greatness is often about consistency. Doing the tough but necessary work day after day. And that's something we can all aim for, no matter what we do.
Absolutely. Think about the people in your life who embody that kind of quiet excellence. It could be a teacher who patiently guides their students, or a nurse who works tirelessly to care for their patients, or a parent who gives their family unconditional support.
It's about dedication, hard work, and really understanding what you do. And those qualities are just as important, if not more important, than scoring a crazy goal or putting on some amazing show.
This deep dive into Rodri's potential Ballon d'Or win has been about way more than just football. It's been a journey into what success really means, a challenge to rethink our priorities and recognize that quiet brilliance that often goes unnoticed.
We've learned that sometimes the most valuable players aren't the ones who get all the attention. It's the ones who make the whole team better. The ones who are always there, reliable and dedicated, quietly shaping the game from within.
And who knows, maybe this shift in perspective, this appreciation for the Rodris in all parts of life, is the real takeaway from this whole Ballon d'Or debate.
So as you go about your day, keep an eye out for those unsung heroes, the quiet leaders who are making a difference in their own way. Because sometimes the most impactful contributions are the ones that are hardest to see. And those are the stories, the achievements that are truly worth celebrating.